watch the Zoom or listen to it at least. The Zoom meeting is on.
Oh. How do you want me to help? On the speaker.
We hack it up.
Oh, I'm outside after that.
Myself up here.
Huh?
She's at.
Holy Father, help us make the right choices for the people of Oconee County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Roll call, please.
Small,
Here.
Jack,
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Brady,
Here.
Drummond. Here.
We will delay the approval of the minutes, because we don't have a current copy with us today, right now. 1:45 is our public hearing to close out CBDG. You can slide in public comment in between now and then, I think. If the board is okay with that. So we'll begin with public comment. 3 minutes, state your name and your township, please. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Board. Charles Finley. I reside at 8191 Pin Lake Road in Plainfield Township, Michigan. I'm also the deputy fire chief for the South Branch Fire Department in Goodard Township. Also county commissioner in Iosco County in District 3. The reason I'm speaking to you today is I've had ongoing conversations with your EMS director, Mr. Rice, about a mutual aid or service agreement for medical response unit up in the Curtisville area. I have drawn up a mutual aid agreement. We have mutual aid agreements with Curtisville right now as far as fire. And we were looking to get a mutual aid agreement or a service agreement with Alcona County EMS. I made the necessary changes that he wanted for the mutual aid agreement, because it would be strictly a first response unit, non-transport is what we do. And submitted that to him. Had not heard back from him, on that. Received some phone calls. We have some of our members that are on our department that reside in Alcona County. I revised another letter and a service agreement with Alcona County EMS, see if he was comfortable with that. I was advised that that letter was forwarded to the board for review. If you have any questions on it, I am here. The reason, I'll just cut right to the chase on it, is this. We're not going to charge the county or the township for that medical first response unit. We have been called out by request of your crews on that side. Iosco County is facing the same difficulties you are with EMS with people, but time saves lives. And we would we would respond with our medical first response unit at no cost. To EMS, because Alcona Fire Department, helps us, we help them back. We're all in the same boat here, it's about saving lives. We know that you had to shut down your station number 2 on on different occasions where we could come up and at least stabilize that patient until mutual aid, a transport unit could get there. Also, if there was a mass casualty and you needed extra medical personnel, we would come over there. We currently have mutual aid contracts with, if I help you, you help me. Basically, all it is that with every single fire department in Iosco County, we're part of that association. Currently have medical mutual aid agreement with Oscoda County because they're so far away from Mentor Township in that area over there to go up and give them a hand. And also we have the capabilities of ORV rescue, which has a small set of jobs on it, things of that nature. So we're not here to take anything over. We're just here to help people save lives. My mother passed away because no one knew CPR. There was no AED available. I've been up here, volunteered my time for community CPR training up here. My wife, just keep her completely out of this. She does work for the county, been with you folks for 20 years. I have EMS and fire background for over 30 years. So we just want to help you. That's it. We just want to help you. We see the need up there. We just want to help, but we're not making any headway with this over here. So when your crews do have a cardiac arrest, the crews actually call us. We're not going to turn anybody down, but we go respond as a fire department. Well, this $500 a call is our policy. When we go up, we have not passed any of that on. We just need, it's basically just a handshake. It's already been set up for our dispatch in Ogama County. It has, your dispatch is ready to go. All you have to do is call Ogama County. We recently upgraded through a grant, our 800 radios, and had your EMS and central dispatch put in all of our units. We're licensed by the state of Michigan in both Ogama and Iosco County. And again, the bottom line is that we just want to help. That's it. And we're just looking for, we are ready to go. And we haven't heard anything back. That's why I am here today. We do have folks that live on your county line. I apologize for going over 3 minutes here. One nice thing is we do have folks that are medically trained that live on your county line, one on 65, and then one on County Line Road. And those folks there all carry medical equipment and AEDs, which are the automatic external defibrillators in their vehicles. So as a CPR instructor myself, if we can get somebody on scene doing CPR with an AED, the chances of survival increase by three times. I know you had 2 cardiac arrests at the Alcona campground where I camp, also, and your crews is nothing. You guys are stretched in just like everybody else. So when your crew is sitting in Lincoln or coming back from Alpena, at least we can get in there and stabilize it. The only thing that we ask is the same thing with like Oscoda or Ogama. If we use a bag valve mask, if you just replace that for us, if you can't afford it, we're good with that. We just don't want to see anybody die. That's it. I appreciate your time.
Do you, does your schedule allow to stay after the meeting? We're meeting, actually, we're having an EMS meeting right after this meeting today. Do you have some time to stick around on top of us?
Yes, sir. What time would that be?
Whenever we're done here. So-
Yeah, I would.
I would assume, hopefully by
really
3:30.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we're actually meeting right after this meeting today, so
Okay.
if your schedule allows, we'd love to talk to you. then.
Well, my meeting's all done.
Okay, great.
Gentlemen, who's here, so I appreciate your time.
Sorry.
Thank you.
You have a card.
Yes, ma'am.
Next Republic comment. Over here.
I'm Sharon Zaretta, I live in Harrisville Township, 7585 Ellen Drive. First of all, I'd like to thank Craig Johnston for returning my phone call really prompt, within an hour. We had a good conversation on Saturday and my concerns were regarding what happened at the ACCOA meeting. I was unable to attend that particular meeting because I was having oral surgery with 4 teeth removed. However, I would like to say now that I am in support of the community hub and some affordable housing based on what the money would grant. And I do have other concerns, but those concerns I understand are best to address to the whomever the new board is, which has not been published except in Alcona Review today. It is not on their Facebook site as of last night anyway, as to who each person is that has concerns. So thank you very much.
You sound better.
And I
today.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you sound better.
And I've always appreciated Carolyn Broadman, even though I don't live in Greenwood, but anyway.
Thank you. Anybody else, public comment? Yes,
Patty
Oh, sorry.
Thomas, Harrisville Township. This may be too soon for you to answer this question, but in the last meeting, I think there was some discussion about AEDs. And I'm wondering if you guys have any count of how many there are currently. I know they're getting 2 new ones. And will there be an opportunity for public training for anybody that's interested in learning how to use a defibrillator and save life?
if you reach out to the EMS director.
Yeah,
those classes
when
do
you
better.
have your meeting today, would you pass on that information that
Absolutely.
we're concerned about
Yeah.
having training?
Thank you. Please. Oh, no? Okay.
I was just.
Okay, you look like you're getting on the same
I was
time.
trying to get out of the way.
Anybody else public comment? Nobody in house, anybody online public comment?
Yes, I do. Tim Gothier, Caledonia Township.
Go ahead, sir.
I would like to make a point of clarification about comments made by Ms. Epsy at last month's meeting regarding the statement that she made that I and Mike Brady made some false comments, because in her words that we do not have wetland violations and we do not have litigation with the properties that the grants have been applied for. Because that statement that she made is exactly the opposite of what is true. And the statement that I made was that we do have litigation pending with wetland property. And we do have zoning ordinance property violation that is still going to be further looked into regarding some of the properties listed on the DNR grants. So I guess if you bend the truth a little bit, it comes out the way that you want it to. So just to clarify, there is litigation pending on the wetland property, and there is a zoning ordinance violation on the DNR grant property. So the letter that she asked for your support on the grants, I hope you still have not made any comments back to Caledonia Township on it. Thank you for your time, lady and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else public comment?
Yeah, this is Mike Brady from Caledonia Township.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I just jumped on real late. Yeah, I kind of wanted to tag on with some comments the supervisor made. There still is ongoing litigation at the Holcomb Creek property that has not been signed. The orders have not been signed by the judge. So for anyone to say our statements were false or my statements were false, that's incorrect. And I don't appreciate being called by name and basically being called a liar to this fine group of people. I appreciate you taking the time, and everybody try to stay warm out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Pam McKinnon, Caledonia Township. I was under the impression, sitting through with the litigation process of the Holcomb Creek property, that the judge had made her decision. The final things have not been presented as far as getting signs up and things like that, but I think his comment might be a little misleading. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes, hello.
Sure.
Yeah, hi, Jennifer Stanzik, Spruce, Michigan. I just wanted to comment about the ACO-CA board. I'm a new resident as of July and attended that 5-hour meeting. And it's fairly clear to me after that meeting and subsequent meetings that the only way for that board to move forward is for you to step in and remove what's left of the existing board. I had thought about running for the board, but on the day that people resigned, they already had 3 additional board members' applications, which seems odd since they were unaware of people resigning. There's so much malice and misinformation that the only way for them to move forward is for you guys to step in. And I'll be incredibly disappointed if they move forward with applications that they didn't vet, they didn't ask for publicly, and, you know, seem to be just pushing through their own agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Yes,
Lisa
please.
Turek, Harrisville Cotton Township. I just wanted to say that there is an ad in the paper right now for board openings. However, it was put under help wanted instead of an actual ad. So I have a call into John to have him change that, and it is in the paper for 4 weeks. So there is an ad for people to put all their resumes and letters of intent. The board opening, it is in the paper now, but it's under help wanted. And but I will have it changed today so that it reads like a regular ad, and it'll be in for the next 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Point of clarification. It was known amongst the board members at ACCUA that there was a resignation they did know of one resignation that was going to take place at that meeting. And so therefore, other people who knew there would be a position opening had been submitting their letters of interest. So that's all that was, is, you know, and they are advertising and they will follow their bylaws for replacing board members.
Okay, your name and township?
Judy French, Harrisville.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a point of clarification, I guess. Is there then a deadline for applications before they appoint new board members?
Public comment, it's not an answer question session, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Terry Surratt, Harrisville Township. I taught up here for 30 years. Just a point on public discourse and comments like this. They're generally very, very good. Everyone gets to air their viewpoint, but sometimes that turns into seeds of discontent. Sometimes it goes where it should not go. And I just would like people to be aware and listen and fact check things that are brought out. We talked about things that are hearsay. We talked about things that are real. Please don't get distracted by those who want to sow the seeds of discontent. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we're gonna go into our I think we're done. Is there any more public comment?
Oh.
Okay, let's go into our CBDG grant public hearing, please, Carolyn, if you would.
In 2020, at the beginning of COVID, primarily the beginning. One of the number of things that did happen was that we were awarded, Elkhorn County was awarded a grant for $143,813. The purpose of that grant was to provide protective things for the county. This 143 is part of what paid for the masks, for the hand sanitizer, for the plexiglass, for all of those types of things that went up very quickly when COVID hit, or shortly after COVID hit. In 2021, we had in essence, a hearing type thing, because we were unable, try as we did, we were unable to use the whole 143,000. We submitted a number of things and they were rejected, and we did not spend $5,000 of it. So our award ended up being $138,792.77. At this time, the purpose of the public hearing is to close out that grant period and acknowledge that we did in fact spend the $138,792.77.
We need to have any kind of motions or. I think enough thing being a minute, so we're good.
It does need to be here.
Excellent. If that closes that out, then,
Yep, thank you.
thank you, Carolyn. Oh, yeah, let's approve the minutes.
Now that you have the correct ones.
I had November.
That's the same one that was in the email though?
Yes, and this looks familiar. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No, this is wrong. This invocation was given by Lenny Avery.
Oh.
That's not all right.
Incorrect.
Taxation.
Well, Dave's in the first motion, so. There's a lot of cutting people.
No, it happens, I get it. That's the only thing I see.
Okay. So approve it with that change.
Approve of the change, well, we need an invocation.
You.
That was me. Motion? Yeah, I'll make a motion to. With the change. With invocation. Who the seconded? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We get to launch straight into the claims. I'll make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims for them for payment between 1/18/2023 and 1/31/2023 for check numbers 149-726 to 149-834 and e-check numbers 2037 to 2044 for a grand total of $485,399.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Drummond,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Yax,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item, Curtis Township Solar Energy Ordinance, light ordinance is short-term rental ordinance. If the representative from that township wishes, we can try to make ordinance today. If not, then it'll be the regular 30-day period and it's automatically approved. For 50 days. Okay, so everybody take a look at that. If anything, between now and the next 30 days, you find something that you don't like, let us know. And then the third item under new business, we're striking from the record. We're not doing that today. Not striking from the record, but we're not doing that today.
That will be done.
Okay.
I just wanted that was approved during the committee assignment appointments then.
Ben,
Okay.
moving into finance report. Still trying to clean up leftover expenditures from 2022 to get the books all balanced out. I assume that should be coming to an end here pretty quick. Other than that, no real things to report in finance. Moving on to personnel.
Personnel report. Okay, so I sent everybody a narrative on something we had brought up, and we've been discussing. I mean, if everybody got a hard copy or not? Anybody want a hard copy?
But I read it.
Anybody need one?
Read it.
Okay.
What is it?
So I'll read through it, and then if we have any questions, hopefully we had a time to come up with their question. It says, proposed letter of understanding with employees in the equalization department. Personnel department or committee received a request from the equalization director to address a potential wage inequity concerning union employees. His concern was that both employees received the same additional compensation for the current LOU. The union supplied a proposed remedy for the inequity. There are currently two positions, appraiser and equalization assistant. The senior, in quotes, because there isn't really delineated as a senior, it's just an appraiser. The senior appraiser position would continue with 2 levels and be titled appraiser. And the equalization assistant would continue with 2 levels and be titled equalization assistant. As it currently stands, there's appraiser and equalization assistant, just those two positions. The finance committee was sent to propose costs and asked about funding sources, and below is a breakout and explanation. So we have underneath each of these, there's an appraiser with the MAAO certification, an appraiser with an MCAO certification, an equalization assistant with an MCAO, an equalization assistant with an MCAT, an MCAT certification. Just a point that the director made us aware of is that anybody working in that office has to have some sort of at least a basic MCAT certification to even be employed in the office. That's, I guess, state law. Is that correct? Right? You can see the dollar amounts. We currently have an LOU for the $3,500 for both employees who have their wages increased from the base wage. And so the appraiser with the MAAO certification and the senior appraiser with an MCAO certification, the only position that would see an increase, which would go from 35 to 5,500 for the MCAO certification, and from 35 to 7,500 with the MAAO certification. It's worth noting, as I wrote in here, as part of the requirements of the MAAO certification, the appraiser would have the ability to sign our tax roll and complete all the state requirements that our current director has to meet and be able to do that. So the appraiser the union position has agreed to a 90-day on-call period to sign any paperwork required by the state of Michigan if the director is unavailable or incapacitated. And this would be the senior union position in the office. The reason, the benefit for the county in that position is we did a little research on that. Several other counties have faced this. You have to have a private company come in and sign your roll. It's anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 for them to sign that. So we'd have someone on staff. And we jokingly said if Troy got hit by a bus and then he got hit by a plane, what else did we do? Bus, plane, car accident. And anyway, he was incapacitated, that position would, she'd be able to fill those requirements. Not in any way a new director or with any kind of management, only sign those papers. You'd still be a union employee. Anything else, Terry? You think You wouldn't.
You've done an excellent job.
Okay. So, we'd make a motion, well, we did finance, I mean, I don't wanna make a motion, finance doesn't have the capacity to do that. So, or if there's no, all the money's available, or. I don't wanna, how do we open up for discussion? We'll make it a motion to put this LOU into effect.
Seconded.
Who is second? Now we can discuss.
It almost appears to me that it would be the creation of a new position. And if that is true, then we would need to, either put it in, the union or put it out of the union, that goes out of the union. Either way, we would need to do interviews and do the hiring process.
Okay. So we did talk about that. So that this. In some departments, it would be an assistant equalization director, which would be a non-union position. But with that, that person would step into the director's position and assume all management also. What we're asking this person to do would have nothing to do with management. It would simply be taking advantage of the MAAO certification.
I agree, it does have to do with from the standpoint that if Troy, sorry,
No,
nothing, you know.
no, this isn't a screw up. This is only if he's not able to sign.
Right, but, move back a step, let's say that for some reason, not that he ever would. He makes a mistake. He is responsible.
Correct.
Now, it falls back on us.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, you have the same thing if you have somebody else signing it.
That's correct. Whether it's one of our union employees or whether it's a guy we hired from Roger City. He's signing his name, he would charge us $20,000 to do it. We've got an appraiser who says that they will have the capacity to sign it and already be familiar with data, so.
I feel that it opens up a new position. And that then requires us to either make a decision, is that position union or non-union? And if it's a non-union, either way, we need to interview.
So that, I see what you're saying, but she would not change any, yeah, it's unusual. What you think?
Job.
Yeah,
Well, isn't it right now, they get, all it's doing is increasing what they get, these certifications are just increasing.
dollar amounts, yes. So in order, it was the personnel department or the personnel committees thought that if for no better way to explain it than for the county to get something out of this in order to increase the amount, we would like to take advantage of utilizing that MAAO certification. And if the employee was willing to do that, and as she has contacted the union and she's also contacted private entities, that's not a problem. She can do that without being a director. That can be done. So it gives us the opportunity to perhaps save $20,000 if it ever happens.
I don't. I guess I have a problem with tacking that much dollar value on. I agree, it has a problem, but I'm not minimizing that at all. But, how about you just pay $1,000 to pay the rest of it?
Well, so I don't think when in our discussions, it wasn't about just that benefit. That was a side benefit. In fact, that never came. The rest of it was. So
An increase in pay.
an increase in pay. So as we looked at the LOU, it's been $3,500 for both employees for many years. And there seems to be an issue with,
I'd like to question that a little bit. I believe it became, they both reached the same level, and for that reason, it rolled into the higher amount.
I don't think it was levels, I think it was certification. So once they both reached NCAO.
Right.
So what this really does is it takes out, it sort of addresses the position, not the certification.
It addresses seniority.
Yes, that's a fair, yeah. So we have a senior
It addresses
employee
seniority.
who is getting the same increase.
So do we then need to go to other departments and where there's a senior person, raise them?
Only if they are required by law to meet these extra certifications. That would be a fair, I would say it'd be fair.
She has people in her office. If Cheryl were here, she has people in her office who have certification, who have done through schools, etc. sometimes online, sometimes they go to the school. And they have additional things that without that, her office would not, that section of her office wouldn't function. But it functions because those people have done the training, have gone to school, whatever it may be. So why, I would have to go to her office and say, here, you've got the certification, I need to give you more money, and I can't follow that. And when
So-
it's really nothing.
So
but
here's where we end
support,
up disagreeing. So we don't get to this
it
point.
looks short-lived.
You're, the reality is you're paying for the certification. There is a small,
We're already paying for certification.
right, but we are increasing the amount because we, as the personnel committee, we felt like the value of the certification has increased with the market, with what it's being paid for and what it costs to get these done. So if we were to, again, hire the private company to come in and take over that position, we are looking at a tremendous amount of money compared to what we pay. So we've decided, or we haven't, yes, we're recommending, we've recommended that we recognize the increased value of these certifications and raise the pay accordingly.
I follow you. But I will consider that after we've gone to all the other offices and seen where they have been elevated. And figure out how we're gonna pay them.
Mr. Chair will call for a vote.
Pardon?
More discussion. Well, I'm asking for a vote.
Is anybody else? Dave, you got
You
anything?
can't, once the motion's called, you can't. You have to come in and vote. Sorry about that.
Okay,
It was a
then,
good discussion.
roll call it is.
Brumman,
No.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Yax,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
I'm not gonna wonder for.
Motion carries. We'll discuss, and to understand this is going to affect till February, or end of February.
Well, it would go into effect immediately on one portion because the employee currently has the MCAO currently. And then the
How
MC,
about at the start of the next pay?
I think that'd be
How
okay.
can you do that?
So we'll find it maybe between now and probably next week. Yeah, I mean, right now there's gonna be money in there, obviously, because we're starting out early, but let's get it figured out. Okay, that's it. Anything else in personnel?
No. No, I don't think there is. We've had some conversations. I don't think there's anything else.
Okay. Treasurer is not here today. She's at a conference, feeling more educated about what she does for us. Also, moving on to the clerk's report.
There's nothing to report.
Nothing from the clerk. Well then. That's fine. Jake's not, communications in your packet for your perusal, unless anybody feels necessary to break this something up now.
I would like to, I think you all got a copy of the notification, right? I would like to ask that at our next meeting, that the extension of the state of Michigan rules be placed on that,
New business.
on that, agenda.
Okay, Beaver Harbor Town, right? The Harbor Town building.
Yes. And it increases by just under $1,000.
What increase?
Pardon me, the rate,
Oh, they rent us?
that's what we negotiated 5 years ago.
Okay.
It's all right to see the 5 years come and go, but.
Should be.
5 years already? What's the office been in there?
18,
That's insane.
Can we do it right now, or do we have to?
we can.
Let's put it on the next.
Yeah, we did.
Next one.
Although they do ask for a, the other one that came, they do. I didn't bring that, I mean, they asked to speed it up, but I think they'll be happy if we do it.
We have it by the 15th.
started today, so it's. Yeah.
Okay, committee reports, Terry.
For the sake of my voice, like.
None? Anything drastic or and not, you don't have to say a lot of words, but is there anything bad or dire going on with the dams right now?
In the middle of that. Information out there, consumers is. Giving some information out. They're going to be public doors again. My understanding of. What they were doing. It is an ongoing process. And what the end was gonna be, I don't.
Okay.
To be honest.
All right, thanks. Dave?
Just that we're going ahead, building department, we're doing a couple of little. Not repairs, but getting ready for the Veterans Administration to move in with into the building department temporarily. And that looks like it's on schedule for probably around February 15th.
Okay. That it? Yep. Greg?
Yeah, Veterans Affairs. Pat's still in here? I give him my last copy, I guess. Anybody else got a copy of what I sent out? Thank you. Where it went, so. We've been in discussions with the Veterans Affairs Board and the Veterans Officer. Asked Dave Yax to help me, so we've both been able to meet with them, put another set of eyes on this and start getting it along. I've sent it out to everyone. If you'd like me to read this report, so the public knows, is that fine, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
have at it.
So the veteran, I identified 8 different bullet points. So the Veterans Board identified, and this is the beginning of this. Veterans Board has identified a need for increased space. The lack of privacy has caused some veterans to not want to come into the office, causing the service officer to have to leave the office to serve those veterans. There is also a notice of increase in foot traffic, as evidenced by the increased benefits obtained by veterans in the community. Number 2, the veterans are directed to get prints and a site plan of their proposed building. Through an advertised bid process, identified Tom Jacobs as a contractor for the building. The Veterans Board then applied for a state grant, which the Board of Commissioners signed, naming Jacobs Builders as the builder, and received a $50,000 grant. Jacobs has worked with the veterans over the last several months, advising them on the steps needed to complete the project. In essence, certified site plan, prints, excavating proposals, well, and zoning laws. Number 3, the Lincoln DDA agreed to deed property to the county for construction of the building. The Board of Commissioners agreed to receive the property contingent upon zoning approval, well availability, and no contamination. The current property, 222 Second Street, which I thought was kind of cool, the neat address, 222 Second Street, has no known contamination. This is my investigation and my calls that I made. As confirmed by Eagle, a proposal for a phase 1 assessment has been received and could be completed in 2 to 3 weeks if the Board of Commissioners deems it necessary. So there's a company in Gaylord that could do this on pretty short notice. This would be a phase 1 price around $1,500 to $1,900. This assessment is not required by Eagle. There is no contamination on this site. There's no history of a contamination. However, given the commercial nature of the area, Board of Commissioners may require it as a final step before transfer. Number 4, a certified site plan will be presented to the village zoning board for approval on 2/20/23. And I don't know if everybody had a copy of this, but this is the certified site plan. So I think everybody had a chance. So that on the 20th of February, that'll get approved by the zoning. Zoning administrators indicated there wouldn't be an issue, so hopefully that'll get done. The Department of Health has been contacted, indicated that a well can be located on the site. It'll be a type 3 public well. Recent nearby wells indicated depth of 125 to 135 feet. Several verbal proposals for the well have been obtained on prices. I don't need to go into how much yet, so when it comes to it, we'll do it. Number 6, a certified blueprint of the commercial building is nearing completion at Russo and Associates. Once the project print is received and approved, the materials list can be compiled. The Veterans Board has indicated that several suppliers have expressed a willingness to reduce or donate services or goods to complete the project. That is true. There's been, Home Depot has expressed some interest. They're getting donations, several of them. I think you've had a lot, or that you've had donations coming in for that, so we appreciate that. Number 7, John Hartley, our IT man, is compiling a list of technology requirements, needs, and wants. So those are 3 different categories. As a county building, security will be at the same standard as the current building, our building here, and supervised by John Hartley. In addition, all required computer security features will be handled by Hartley. And then finally, by law, the Board of Commissioners is responsible and creates the Veterans Affairs budget. The approved budget line item for this project is $155,000. The veterans believe they will stay within that budget. So that's my report.
Thanks. Carolyn,
See later in the improvement board, we have a meeting this Friday. We will be approving the 2021 audit, so it can send to the state. Nick Cordes has been our CPA with this. We're pleased that the state of Michigan is willing to have us be on a biennial reporting other than yearly. MIDC, Michigan Indigent Defense Commission. The question's been raised again, as it is every year. Do you want to merge with other counties? The people involved with it here at this in Puna like it the way it is. Really don't want to have it merged. But the decision rests with us. My vote would be to leave status quo. It will not cost us any difference if we were to change. We would be with Montmorency and Alpena County. I just think we're wise to stay the way we are. Our administrator, Bill Pfeiffer, believes that. And I don't think clerk's office has any reason to want us to change.
No.
And so if one of you want to investigate that further, please let me know or ask Stephanie to put it on our next agenda. But I really do hope that we just leave it as it is. Hunt's been busy. We had a quarterly meeting. They were assisting, as some of you are aware, in activity within the county very recently. Quarterly meeting for the LEPC and the LPT there nothing from Sarah Title regarding the wells and so on. We used to get monthly reports, and then I went to kind of quarterly and then kind of semi-annually. We haven't had anything since I think October or something. That's what's coming. Next year, our dollar amount is going to be $11,295. If you remember, we're all too young to remember, but anyway, it used to be in the $30,000-$40,000, and it just keeps dwindling down like a lot of other things that are dwindling down. Sunrise Center welcomed their new executive director, Madeline McConnell, at our board meeting the end of January. There's discussion about changing the date of our meeting, but we'll see. Nobody's created a 6th Wednesday of the month, and so until we do, I think that's going to be that way. Thank you for your support on the closure of the grant that we did earlier. The opioid committee is scheduled for a meeting. Don't have the time on it yet, but it will be either the 27th or the 28th of February. The checks in the mail, so I'm told, for $55,897.15, which is really cool. We received notice that it is literally in the mail. And I'm very, very surprised because we believed it was coming via e-check. Everything else does, so I didn't it, but it said mail, so we'll believe it when Cheryl deposits it. However, it gets deposited. ACCOA has new officers. They're putting things in motion to elect the 4 remaining board members, and as was indicated, that ad is in the paper. That notice, I should say, not ad, notice is in the paper. And they are welcoming any and all to apply and to submit their name. If you know, our relationship with ACCOA is through a contract for services, and we will confirm that those services are taking place as time moves forward. Northeast Michigan 211 quarterly meeting is this month. The executive committee meets monthly, but the full board meets quarterly. And we will be voting in and approving the contract with the new executive director.
That was a good one. Good. Okay, then we are down to our last segment of public comment, 5 minutes per person, identify yourself and your township. Yeah, we'll start with over here.
Patrick Smiley, Alcona County Veterans Committee. I want to thank you guys for putting this together. It's pretty thorough, explains a lot. But one thing I just want to add was the lack of privacy was a very main issue to our veterans, but also the central location. That's how we came up with Lincoln. It's centrally located in the county, and many veterans, especially coming from Glenny to Kerner, that's long ways to come into here. So that's how we came up with that. So that's very important too, that it's centrally located. I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go from left to right. Who's next? Yes.
Hi, I'm Kelly Von Fennel. I'm from the city of Harrisville. I was a former member, I am a former member of the COA, and regarding the comments being made about board involvement with the current goings on, complaints, many complaints were made, not only by myself, but other employees a long time ago. And a lot of us, excuse me for being emotional, came to some members of the Board of Commissioners. Our requests and complaints fell what seemed like on deaf ears. So now when people are crying for the Board of Commissioners to step in, it feels like a big giant slap in the face if that were to happen. And I just wanted to make that known. Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Rob Pellerito. I'm the new district director for Senator Michelle Flavinga. Our office is now open in Lansing. I am in the district. I will gladly share my contact info. I have 16 counties from eastern Manistee County up to Presque Isle and down to northern Bay County. So I hope to be back and through Alcona County several times throughout the next few months. So any issues, please feel free to reach out to our office or myself directly and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody else?
You stay after a little bit?
Yep. Public comment. Gary.
Gary Van Up, Mitchell Township. As far as the Board of Commissioners getting involved in ACCOA, I remember a resolution being written asking the board to do so and haven't. Seems now that we have a competent commissioner sitting on that board for liaison and it's going the way it's going. I think it's just fine. As far as the optics of resumes being available, it hasn't been made known, but on the 19th, when they had the previous meeting, I guess there were individuals there that were also there for that reason. And it seems that the nominating committee withdrew a proposal at the meeting of the 23rd, so I'm kind of wondering what that was about, but you know, I'm not privy to any of that. I would like to admonish both the local news and the Alpena news for putting stuff in there that I think could be later on inflammatory, and I think they need to consider what they're doing when they put out their publications and bring forth the news. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Good afternoon, Margaret Sarah, Haines Township. First of all, I want to thank you, everyone, working on the vet issues. I think that's very important. My father served in World War II, Korean War, Vietnam. It's very important information process that we do, you know, for our vets. And I'm really glad to see that we, you know, making commissions for them so that they have what this gentleman said, privacy and location available to everybody. I just wish we could have used a building that we have that
there may be certain qualifications that those don't fit. Secondly, I was just wondering how we're doing with our internet capability in the county. I've been kind of following along things that we've been doing. I'm really proud of us. I think there was a huge push to find out what all the lines that have been laid, what they are, where they're going. And so I'm inquiring about that also. And maybe at some point I can connect with. All right, I love that. Thank you. And lastly, about the ACCOA, terrible state of affairs. And I don't see a lot of transparency today. Is an example. Two people in our citizens in our community stood up and made what should be professional statements from an employee or a board member, but they didn't identify themselves. So in doing so, you can understand why people are remiss in trying to understand what they're trying to do out here. If they don't identify who they are when you're talking about business that is being handled at ACCOA, then there is no transparency. And as far as who is, checking out to make sure things are done, that's NEMSCA. I understand the board of county commissioners don't really want to get involved. I think you're a little remiss in that. You should get involved at some point. Who's watching what happens? And so I just want to reiterate, if the current board wants us to believe that they are truly working for all of the people in Alcona County, then if you have employees or people who speak or have been hired by the board and getting paid, then be transparent. Have those people say who they are, what is their position, and how, then we'll all understand what's going on, and we won't have this terrible push and pull that's going on right now. We need to help Alcona County save this $12.5 million gift that we've been given. And I think that we all need to work together on that and stop all this bickering. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yes, I'd love to talk with you after.
Thank you. Anybody else public comment? Anybody online public comment? Okay. Commissioners, additional comments and concerns. Craig, do you have any inspiration to talk about internet progress right now?
I know Robin, the Robin grant has opened, I believe Doug has told me this, Doug Cheek, who's our chairman of our EDC committee. They are starting to look at potential people who will get the grant. I think it's gonna be one of those things where the water is calm and all of a sudden things are gonna happen. So there's things going on behind the scenes and actions that are happening. We haven't gotten any far as I know with Presque Isle Oil and Gas. They're in the process of coming up with some things. The grant's getting made available, stuff is happening. I wish I had more than that, but
Well, it's important to mention that
it hasn't
everything
been
is
forgotten.
lined up.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying is everything is in line. And as soon as the grants start dropping, we're gonna start having some progress.
We're almost first in line.
Right.
And we've got all the groundwork done. And now there's a lot of counties that are trying to catch up and do the mapping. Presque Isle already has agreements with consumers to use their lines.
Yeah, we've positioned ourselves really well, that when the money starts becoming available, we are in a good position to receive it, so.
And that's not the grant, that's not the ARPA funds, that's the additional.
That's a different grant, so there's.
Yeah, there's millions of dollars out there.
$50 million
$200 million for rural counties.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of money. There's a lot of federal money. There's a lot of money. So as it becomes available and as the doors start opening, our consultant and our people are walking through those doors and presenting our information. And that's.
Yeah.
the grant.
Okay, I just thought that'd be nice to everybody here, so, anybody else additional comments? Okay, then we'll adjourn the meeting until February 15th.
Pat, if you want this and show anybody, I got a big picture.
You can.
Okay, if anybody wants to see this, it'll be up here. That's the Veterans Affairs building.
It's a site plan.
I don't have any that big.